Uncle, my
But we're
uncle.
not live yet. One moment. One moment. Okay.
We're live.
We are live.
Uncle, my bet.
Uncle my aunt, I bet. Uncle my aunt, we'll give it a couple of moments.
Welcome to our him that were.
That's right. Dwa R Hrw. All
Right.
right.
All right. This is the second Sunday of the new year,
That's right.
2026.
2026 of the Gregorian calendar, we say.
That's right.
And as you all are coming in, of course, I do want to say Uncle Josh and Neb to all of you. Life, prosperity, and health in 2026. We all need that.
So true. So true.
All of us need that. All right, while we're waiting a couple of moments, Himnetter, how are you this morning?
I'm feeling really revived.
Good.
So thanks to the net rule.
Excellent. Excellent. You are looking well as usual. Okay. All right, we'll get started in just a moment. Let me take it off a full screen here. And I am mindful to make sure I do check through the chat, this time and do the best I can with keeping the chat answered and responded. All right. I had said 5. I just want to let everybody know. Actually, no, I said it in 4 minutes ago, so we're good. All right. Well, it looks like we can go ahead and get started. And folks will come on in as we're doing the opening of the way. All right.
All right. As we getting ready to get in let's get into position. Right.
So we're going to stand in the pose of adoration.
As we begin to stand in the pose of adoration, so we all know we put our left foot forward and our right foot slightly back, our left hand forward and our right hand slightly back. And we start off with the word of life. Netrak in Bahet, Nuke in Bahet, Netrak happy, Nuke happy, Tuau and Tor, turn to your right. Netrak circuit, Nuke circuit, Tuau and Tor,
Netrak Kepsanuf.
Netrak Kepsanuf, Nuke Kepsanuf, Tuau and Tor, turn to your right. Netrak As, Nuke As, Netrak, I'm set. Nuke, I'm set. Tuau and Tor, turn to your right.
On your phone, ring it and ring it, don't you leave it alone. Daughter's calling and the show is sweet. If you don't get it, then you're gonna get beat. It's your daughter. Ring, ring, it's your daughter. Ring a ding. Cell phone's ringing, so you know you better do what's right. All right. Ring a ding, ring a ding, a ding, ring a ding, a ding, ring a ding, a ding. It's your daughter on your phone.
Excuse me for a minute. All right, I'm ready.
Back at neat.
Netrak, neat, nuke, neat. Netrak, Duamotef, nuke, Duamotef. Tuau and Tor, turn to your right.
Netrak newt.
Netrak, newt, newt, newt. Netrak, geb, nuke, geb. Tuau and Tor.
Netrak
Shoe. Shoe. Nuke, shoe. Netrak, Tefnu. Tefnu. Nuke, Tefnu. Tuau and Tor.
on your phone, ring it, don't you leave it alone. Daughter's calling and the show is sweet. If you don't. Netrak paut into the
Netrak, Paut, Intero. Nuke, Paut, Intero.
Netrak in boo.
Netrak, and Boo, Intero. Nuke, and Boo.
If you don't get it, then you're gonna get beat. It's your daughter. Ring, it's your daughter. Ring a ding. Cell phone's ringing, so you know you better do what's right. All right. Ring a ding. Ring a ding a ding. Ring a ding a ding. Ring a ding a ding. It's your daughter on your phone. To enter.
Netrak, Tuau, Intero. What?
And then it might be an emergency. You might need to answer that.
All right. Excuse me.
Yep.
Interrupting my prayer.
And we will close with the word Ankh. To enter. All right, we'll give him Netter Waziri a moment. Anytime one of our children call back to back like that, I always say we got to answer. They might be in distress or anything, but those are calls from our parents and our children that we cannot let go unanswered. Now, Hemnet, I did put you on mute until you are until you're ready. You can have when you have a seat, I'll take the mute off. Welcome back, everyone. I hope that you are all well. It is good to be here. All the challenges and adversities that we face, we still tend to make it here. And as for all of you that come in and watch, the same, we face all kinds of challenges, but we still tend to make it here. You all could have been anywhere else, but you are here with us. So dua for all of that. Everything okay, Himnetter?
Yes, everything is okay.
Okay. I was just saying that when our parents or our children call, especially back to back. Those are calls that can't go unanswered. Just
That's so true.
you know. All right. So again, Ankh Uja Seneb, life, prosperity, and health to all of you.
Uncle Jobson there.
Yes, as the 2026 calendar, Western calendar begins, we definitely want to wish all of that to you all. And of course, let's go ahead and proceed as we usually do. The opening of the way, of course, which was brought forth to us in its current form for Baba Heru. So we say Dua Baba Heru. Dua Baba Heru Ankra Samaj Se Pata Ma'ak Heru, opener of the way, bearer of Ma'at, and custodian of the Ankh. We continue the ritual which you have brought to us in honor of your legacy and our living ways. We light the candle for Baba. And I place that there on the altar with Ma'at and his book. All right. This way, every Sunday when we are here, I feel like I have a piece of Baba with me. I have his signed book and my candle. Netta lights a candle for him. All right. Let's now give out our flowers. We say dua to the ancestors. Dua and Bu Nataru. And Netter and Tepi, Jed, Ma'at, and Ra, which is Jabari, our chief priest. Himneta Wasiri and his queen Tara for allowing him to be here with us every week. And his commitment and dedication to our weekly sessions. And all of you for showing up here with us every week. Dua, dua, dua for that. We will start with our setting the feather so that today's session is aligned with Ma'at. We do this by taking our 4 deep breaths. And our first one will be to clear the mind. Let's take a deep breath. And our second will be to cleanse the spirit. Our third will be to lighten the heart. And our fourth and final, we breathe in Ma'at and exhale Ifset. We awake to live in Ma'at. I align my thoughts, words, and deeds with Ma'at. May Ma'at be the driving force of our actions today and every day. Dua Unater. All right. Opening of the way. Wapet wa. Wapet repet. The way is open. The paths are cleared. We open this sacred space in Ma'at, free of disorder, free of falsehood, free of that which weighs the heart heavy. We get started today, of course, giving our thanks to the Most High, to the Netaru, and to all of you for showing up every week as we get started today. The feather has been set, the flowers have been given, and the way has been open. Himnetter, what do you have for us today?
Well, as the spirit goes, it touched me today to come from the Hosea. So we are coming from the book of Kunan Anuk, page number 34, section 7, and page 34 and page 35. So we're coming from section number 8 to section 9. And as I read, and people can read along. People fall low through greed. Those who prey on others achieve no real success. Their success is in truth a loss. Though you are greedy, it yields you nothing. Though you steal, you do not benefit by it. Act righteously for the Lord of righteousness, whose righteousness is righteousness indeed. When goodness is good, it is truly good. Surely righteousness is for eternity. It goes to the grave with those who do it. When they are buried and the earth envelopes them, their name is not erased from the face of the earth. They are remembered because of their goodness. For this is a principle established by the word of the Netter. Speak right and do right, for righteousness is mighty. It is great. It endures. Its worth is real, and it leads one to blessedness. Wrongdoing does not achieve its goal, but one who is righteous reaches dry land. Section 9. The tongue is a person's balance, and it is the balance which discovers defects. Punish those who should be punished, and none shall equal your righteousness. When falsehood walks around, it goes astray. It does not cross over in the ferry, nor does it go forward. Or who becomes rich by it has no children or heirs on earth. Those who sail with it do not reach dry land, and their boat does not drop anchor at their intended time. Be not too heavy nor yet too light. Do not delay or be too hasty. Be not partial, nor listen or pure emotion. Do not turn your face from one whom you know. Do not blind to one whom you have seen, and do not reject one who petitions you. Abandon this sluggishness and let your speech be heard. Act for one who acts for you. Do not listen to everyone, but call those who have a just cause. The slow and idle have no heritage. One deaf to truth has no friends, and those who are greedy have no holiday.
Wow.
Ashe.
Ashe, ashe, ashe. The tongue to a person's balance. The tongue is a person's balance, and it is the balance which discovers defects. Punish those who should be punished, and none shall equal your righteousness. When falsehood walks around, it goes astray. It does not cross over in the ferry, nor does it go forward. One who becomes rich by it has no children or heirs on earth. Those who sail with it do not reach dry land, and their boat does not drop anchor at the intended town. Be not too heavy, nor yet too light. Do not delay or be too hasty. Be not partial, nor listen to pure emotion. Do not turn your face from one who you know. Be not blind to one who you have seen, and do not reject one who petitions you. Abandon this sluggish, and let your speech be heard. Act for one who acts for you. Do not listen to everyone, but call those who have just cause. The slow and idle have no heritage. One death to truth has no friends, and those who are greedy have no holiday. So break that down a little bit for us, Hemnetter.
Well, well, one thing, if you go back to section 8, and the thing is that act righteously for the Lord of righteousness, whose righteousness is righteousness indeed. When goodness is good, it is truly good. Surely righteousness is for the eternity. It goes to the grave with those who do it. When they are buried and the earth envelopes them, their name is not erased from the face of the earth. They are remembered because of their goodness. For this is the principle established by the word of the Netter. Speak right and do right, for righteousness is mighty. It is great. It endures. Its worth is real, and it leads one to blessedness. Wrongdoing does not achieve its goal, but one who is righteous reaches dry land. So it's important for the fact of being righteous and doing what's right. And righteousness is in Ra loves my and my and righteousness is in my so we understand that doing my is one of the things that brings us to the foothold of being righteous and that's one of the things that we're doing. We're looking for the goodness of the righteousness, and it says when goodness is good, it is truly good. And so that's one of the things that we want to aim for. We want to aim for being right, and that's one of the things that I love reading this passage number 8 in the Hosea.
I always say, I know I say the same thing every week, but it's amazing how you pick these passages because, of course, when we do our second part of our session, we talk about balancing the scales. And even though we're not to that part yet, but it's always seems to be aligned with whatever. He doesn't know what principle that I'm going to talk about balancing the scales. I don't know what text he's going to read, but it's been a thing that's been super, super heavy on my heart lately. We'll get into the balancing the scales later, but it's the word reciprocity that keeps coming back to me. In this first part of section 8, where it says people fall low through greed. Those who prey on others achieve no real success. And I say that because there seems to be a grand rise in the solicitation of liberation. Healing, liberation, freedom is being sold at high costs. Now, reciprocity is not necessarily tit for tat. You give me $2, I respond or give you something that equates to $2. Let's just say that, for example. And it's not necessarily equal measure, it's right measure. Now, I say that in terms of I have a lot of, and I'm not calling anybody out. I just question what really aligns with Ma'at, especially when we say people fall low through greed. We have healers, we have people of all walks of life that are selling liberation. Now, for some of us, I mean, I can't speak for everybody, but I don't have thousands of dollars sitting around to be liberated, to take, a class here and there for this $1,000 or to, there's all of these different rites of passages. They're very expensive. And our people are trying to become healed and liberated and restored. Yet it's coming at a high cost. And it almost seems like freedom and liberation is being gate kept. Why is this? Why is the liberation? Why is the freedom being held behind these gates at a high cost? It seems like the things that we are trying to sever, the oppression that we have suffered, on many levels, the taking away our traditions, the robbing us, not even allowing us to practice our traditions, healing, family traumas, all of these things. There's always a but before you can get to the healing. For instance, let's say you're looking for healing, you post-traumatic, whatever may have happened to you. And I have experience and the knowledge in this thing that you've gone through. I want to liberate you. I want to heal you, help you heal yourself, help you know yourself, help you find your path. But at what cost? Why are we gatekeeping liberation for our people? And I see this predominantly in the African community. Everyone has a class or a master class or a rite of passage to go through. But it's being kept. It's being gated by these high finances. And I'm not saying that people shouldn't be compensated for their works and their efforts. But if you've noticed, all across the globe, heal thyself, heal me, fix me, liberate me, unoppress me. but sign that contract on the dotted line and pay me this in order for you to find that freedom. So how free is freedom? And how does that align with the principles of Ma'at if we are gatekeeping healing, gatekeeping liberation? So that very first sentence, the whole passage is powerful, but the very first sentence, people fall low through greed. At what point does consciousness become a way to gatekeep and to ego-led and to capitalize on people's traumas, capitalize on people's search for liberation? This whole passage speaks a lot of volumes to me. I'm not sure if you see any of that in this hymn, Netter, but I do. What do you think about the African communities that are selling healing, that are selling liberation? How do you feel about that?
Well, one of the things is that you have to be very careful about how you're acting, and the fact that you have bought into this society is what they put forth as what as healing, and the fact that when we deal with Ma'at, truth, justice, and righteousness, that's so important, and being correct is so important, that you ought to be aware of where you're being led to, and by what and who you're being led by. It's so important to know your truth, and the fact that you are being able to bring the truth to others that you are looking for. So don't, it says, their success is in truth or loss. Though you are greedy, it yields you nothing, but you still do not benefit by it. Act righteously, for the Lord of righteousness, whose righteousness is righteousness indeed. When goodness is good, it is truly good. So that's important to understand, that when you're doing good, you know it, you feel it in your heart, and the fact that you not knowing it is you cannot share that with others as you go forth.
Understood. I think that when you come into a certain knowledge, and again, it's not to say that people's works and efforts should go uncompensated, but if you come into a certain knowledge, would you gatekeep it so that you can sell it to your people, or would you share the direction of that knowledge? Even if you're not going to, let's say you've done all this footwork to come into this knowledge, even if you don't share the footwork, wouldn't you, as a person practicing Ma'at, living in Ma'at, be obligated to at least share the direction of the knowledge? And the second part, again, it says the tongue is a person's balance, and it is the balance which discovers defects. Punish those who should be punished, and none shall equal your righteousness. It says righteousness is for eternity. It goes to the grave with those who do it. It goes to the grave with those who do it. So when you're saying, like you just mentioned, when you're living the life of Ma'at, truth, justice, reciprocity, righteousness, it goes to the grave. But if you're led by ego and your intentions are not pure, the punishment is on you. The karma is on you, whatever may happen. I mean, we won't be standing there weighing your scales, but I'm sure that when you reach those two halls, as they say, the truth shall set you free. Well, the truths that may have gone untold from you will be left in the balance of those scales. And as we would say in the old days, it might lead you right to hell with gasoline jaws on. You know, I don't have the authority to condemn or save anybody from a heaven or a hell, but I look at what's going on in the wake of technology. Uh, and I'm still, you and I, we work together on this technology stuff. I'm not tech savvy. We've come a long way since we started this, as you can see.
That's so
you
true.
know, we've come a long way from our cell phones. And I was looking at, the date and how long we've been doing this now. We've been doing this since May of last year.
Wow.
And I see the progress and the different things, but we show up here because it feels good. It feels right. We come up here in truth. It's not, we're not right sayers or right goers to be able to direct people in which way they should go and this and that. But when I think of my aunt and I think of all the things that we do on a daily basis when we're not together, when we are together, I think of those principles and I look around at the rise of technology, the internet. I don't know much about TikTok, but I scroll through TikTok and now I see everybody's doing tarot cards and, the cash apps are up and it's like everything that someone has thought of, soul searchers, seeking knowledge, truth, wisdom, understanding, is now being sold. Which, it goes back to saying that that the kingdom of heaven is within you and all around you. You know what I mean?
So true.
So I feel like, people, when they're searching for something, they're willing, a lot of times they're vulnerable. They're at vulnerable states, and people are taking a lot of advantage of that. Even to say heal yourself for $10,000. I'm just making up, prices
I
and things
understand.
like
I
that.
understand.
But I'm just using metaphors. But if I can come to you and say, you have the capability of healing yourself, but pay me $10,000 and I will show you how to do so. That's not aligned with my aunt to me. It feels like we are becoming the oppressors that we are trying to, and I'm not going to say we, but it feels as if a lot of this is led by oppressors that our people are becoming, the same oppressors that we're trying to sever, the same oppression that we're trying to get away from. We're still being capitalized by our own so-called own people who are gatekeeping healing, liberation, and freedom. So this passage, that's why I keep going back to it, because everything that you read here was what's been heavy on my heart for the last couple of weeks. I've looked into a couple of things, spoken to a couple of sisters, and was Sanetu and Sins, and talked about different things that we were inquiring about. And you go to this place and it's like, this is someone that's real respected. Whoa, it costs this much to be free. So are we paying for our freedom papers? And again, it's not judging, it's just observation. So we can move on. Do you have anything else to add to that? Because I'm going to dig deeper into that once we get to balancing the scales, but and utilizing the text that you read. But I don't want to stay stagnant here on that until we get to that part. Do you have anything else to add to the reading?
Um, well, I think the text really gets into saying everything, and the fact that being righteous, just being good, you don't. It's hard to see that in this type of world that we live in. So so when we have texts and passages such as this, these are the things that bring us to be stronger and have a foothold and a place to stand on. So it's so important to know who we are and what we stand for, and to let us know that sometimes that we will get caught up in the world, and sometimes be caught up in the fact that we are looking to be successful. Are we being successful because we're making all this money on the fact of other people's burdens? And those are the things that we are here to heal from. And so I said, well listen, I can help you. This you can pay me this amount of money, because all of a sudden now it becomes worldly. And so it's something that we have to be careful of who we are and what we are. So
Absolutely.
it's important that we bring the righteousness.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you're right. This passage just it says it all. It definitely says it all. Um, we do have a couple of, and we're going to dig a little deeper into that in a moment. I do want to get to our prayer requests, and I asked you, Himnetter, to say a prayer. I'm going to mention the names here um, on this prayer list, and if you would, say a prayer for the folks that we mentioned here. I do want to mention our one of our beloved sins, or Sinu, I should say, Senatan. Um, I want to mention him. He has some things going on with both his mother and his father. I want to mention Sin Jason, who's got something going on with his brother. Wishing him strength to endure what's going on for him and his family. His brother is sick, was in the hospital. I also have a mother-in-law who is recent. I'm sorry, my stepmother, not mother-in-law, my stepmother, recently diagnosed with lung cancer. She's going through chemo and radiation. And of course, Himnetter, you are always on this list. I know many of you know that Himnetter Waziri's been going through things himself, yet again, his diligence and his effort, he shows up here every week, and he is, he shows up here for us. So we just have to make sure, again, reciprocity, that we show up for him. Give him a call, check and see if he needs anything. Those of you who are in the New York and New Jersey area, check and see if him and Sinette Tara need anything. I'm way down here, but if a drive is a drive, you know what I mean? 3.5 hours, it's not that hard. So I want you to know that, we are here for you just as much as you are for us. We also definitely always want to keep Himnetter Ames in our prayers, because he's going through his treatments at the time. And we know that if our mess, which is a mess always, can't show up here and party with us, then he must be going through some things. So we want to make sure we keep him lifted in prayer. I wanted to mention those names specifically because these are some things that are going on with our committee you right now in this moment. So I'll digress and let you, if you would, say a prayer for those names mentioned there.
We want to take the time to offer up to the Neteru those that are sick and burdened. As Shinkar has mentioned, we want to bring forth the healing for the for her stepmother. Is it Jackie?
Yes, Jackie Brooks.
Jackie Brooks, and for St. Jason's, but is his brother.
His brother. Mm-hmm.
As we pray for those, and again for Ames, and for the healing that is needed in our soul that we bring forth. And so we lift up our hearts and our minds. And so we ask that the Neteru will come into our lives and be able to heal us as we go forth. It's so important that we understand that the healing is very much needed. And so there's, as we look forth and understand that we want to be righteous, but sometimes there are a lot of unrighteous things that are in this world, and that we want the hymn to be able to guide us away from that and be able to do right. And so we thank you for the session, and we pray for the session to be able to do this and touch the hearts of those that are sick, and we ask that it, that our family members that we pray for and that we stand for, that we are there for them. And again we say, Dwa R Hrw.
For that beautiful, 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 beautiful prayer. Going to check here. And before we even get into the comments, I'll go back to that. I want to go into what I had written about it. Where are we at here? All right, here we are. So as you had read out of the Sebayit today for that, and just to say what that's from, this is the book of moral narrative out of the Hosea. So again, I find it fitting, and I had no idea, and I had written this already, and I'd already talked about the principle being, matter of fact, let me go ahead and pull it out. I know it's a little out of order, but let's go ahead and do it since we're already on the topic of it. So I have the scales here, of course, my little dusty feather, and my heart, little jewel here. When I say balance in the scales, the reciprocity, and I had written this, reciprocity is the law of balanced exchange. And ma'at, give and receiving, are not opposites, but they are one movement. To give without allowing oneself to receive creates an imbalance, and to receive without giving back creates disorder. Ma'at calls us to fair share what is needed, what is earned, and what is freely offered. See, in the ancient understanding, reciprocity was not charity. It was a right relationship between people, between generations, and between the seen and unseen. Fair share doesn't mean equal portions. It means appropriate exchange. Each person gives according to their capacity. For instance, you have relationships. Some may say, well, he don't love me like I love him, or she don't love me like I love her, but people they love to the capacity that they're able. It's not necessarily going to be what you give, or those who are have that secret, I'm sure you know plenty of people, because I've done it myself, that have a secret, unheard of, tally up what I did for you list. So that when I come to you and say, Himnet or Waziri, can you help me with so-and-so? And if you cannot help me, I have my list that you never even knew I kept. He couldn't do this for me when I did X, Y, and Z for him. It's the capacity. It's not necessarily equal. Like I said, if I give you $2, that doesn't necessarily mean you're able to compensate that $2 worth of work. But it's the exchange is to the capacity of what we are able to give and what we can receive. So it's according to capacity. And receiving is according to need, without guilt, without exploitation, and without spiritual debt, which is what we were speaking on about, soliciting healing. Where fair share is broken, resentment grows. Where fair share is restored, trust returns. So in this time, we see the solicitation of liberation and healing on the rise. Many seek freedom from pain, freedom from oppression, from imbalance of the heart. So Ma'at asks us to pause and weigh this carefully. Is liberation being lived or sold? Is healing being shared or withheld behind gatekeepers or access? Is exchange mutual, or does it create dependence or debt? True healing doesn't hoard power. True liberation does not bind the seeker either. So I shouldn't be, if I'm the seeker, I'm not necessarily signing up a contract or signing a contract to be bound, but I'm seeking. And that's not what liberation or healing is supposed to do to someone who's healing or someone who's seeking. What is given in ma'at empowers the receiver to stand whole, not to return again and again to the same gate that continues to be locked. So now the balancing question for our scales is, where, not just am I, let's say, where are we? And this isn't a question, it's just a question to ask ourselves. Where am I giving more than is sustained? Where am I resisting receiving what is fair? And where must reciprocity be restored in my life? Those questions that I ask myself. And I asked you to ask yourself, not to answer me, but answer it for yourself. And when I asked those things this week before today, I did come up with the answers. Because I feel like I give in truth. I receive without shame, and I honor fair share. I strive every day to walk in my eye, not just here on Sundays, not just for this hour that we're here, not just when we gather, but in my everyday life, in the unseen, when no one's looking. I strive to do that. Even when I talk trash about somebody and I shouldn't, I'm quickly, it's like almost like, and I'm not crazy and I'm not hearing voices, but it's like a voice. It's just an unheard voice that says, you know, that ain't right. Why you think that about that girl or that woman or that guy? And it's just our fleshly, our worldly routine. Almost like a woman seeing a beautiful woman saying she thinks she's cute. You don't know what that woman thinks she is. You really don't. But evidently you think she's cute. So why not compliment her versus downplaying her, even if it's in your mind? Because that compliment may have just made her step off the edge of jumping. Or when you see your brother, why does it have to be so homo to say, how you doing, brother? Or you're upstanding brother. Not to say, oh, you fine, but just a compliment. Sometimes a head nod and a smile is all it takes to let somebody know you see them. And whatever you see in them is evidently a light and a reflection that you see in yourself. So instead of a smug, why not a smile? Something that seems so small to us could be something huge, life-changing for the next person. I know it's happened to me before where someone out of the blue have given me a compliment and I might have been feeling really low. And that was just enough for me to pep my step up and keep on moving. So just remember to give in truth, receive without shame, and honor fair share. If you are going to live the life of Ma'at, live it. Not for my standards. Who am I? I'm just a face or a sonnet to all of you. Who cares? But I'm just another person. There's no measure that you have to meet for me, nor I for you. But you do have to meet the measure of yourself. Because at the end of the day, that's who you have to be with. That you have to be with yourself. And you have to be okay with who you are and the person that you've lived to be that day. And if you're not okay, you may not get another opportunity tomorrow. And it's just, that tells you, the Amasu says that all. Do it today just as you've done it tomorrow. Do it tomorrow just as you've done it today. Give yourself to the one most high. And with that, I say I'm going to take a look here and see if there's any comments that we need to address. I send Jason here. I see our Sonette Dor Nelson. Let's see. Yes. I see Sin Garrick Van, And yes, Sonora Dior Nelson, Hemnetter Wasiri does a great job. Definitely does a great job. And this man, I really feel like I developed, he's not much older than me, but he's like my uncle. Could be my brother, but it's real family. Like it's not. This isn't pretend. It's not, as him Netter and Teppy would say, this isn't theater. It's real, it's real. All right. I don't see any other, I'm just making sure that we don't have any other comments here. I see two. Oh, here we are. There we are. We have some comments from YouTube. I think it's fair for those among us that after healing services to charge a fair price for their services. However, the power structure that governs us have done what it has done. Yes. Yes, to us for control. Absolutely. I agree. I definitely, and that's Samaj Limba. He's one of our members, and I agree 100%. I want to make sure it's clear that I don't believe that all of people, you go out here and you do this work, that it should be free. I'm not saying that, or it should be, I'm not even one of those people. If you have a business, I support your business. I'm not looking for your discount. I'm not looking for a hookup because I know you. Nothing like that. So I definitely believe in fair exchange. But at some point, you've got to look at what is fair. You got to take a look at what's fair. There's got to be a medium ground, and I think that some folks who are healers and different things like that, this is their business. They don't have full-time jobs. That is their full-time jobs. And you definitely deserve compensation for your services. I am not taken away from any of that. But like Himnetta says, be very careful and cautious as to what you're buying out here. Because you can't buy freedom. You cannot pay to learn to know yourself. I can't pay you to learn about me. Because then where's the whole know thyself equation? If I'm going to pay you to tell me who I am. So just be cautious and be mindful and use your third eye. Be awakened, be aware, and be very, 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 not necessarily, just be guarded with your spirit, because the only one who's going to be responsible for that spirit at the end of the day is you. So be cautious of who you let handle your spirit, and make sure that those who you allow to in the care of your spirit, that they are righteous, that they are practicing Ma'at. And as the text said, that they are speaking truth. The tongue is a person's balance, and it is the balance which discovers defects. All of us. All of our tongues will discover defects. But be cautious, people. And Dwa Nelson, Dua for that. With that, I close, and Himnetta Wasiri, anything that you have to add to that? We do have announcements also, family. Tomorrow is the first Monday, right?
Yes.
First Monday of the month, which there should be a shrine meeting. We are going to make sure that there is a shrine meeting. And I think we say 7 o'clock. Is that correct? Is that right, Himnetta? 7 o'clock? 7 p.m.?
7 p.m.
Okay. That information will go out on the private page today. I'm trying to get with Sanu, our Sanu, which is Sin Jason and Sinatan, to see if we can, chat today and get everything put together. But we definitely will be having a meeting tomorrow, which is January 5th. It's going to be 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I know we're all over the place, so Eastern Standard Time. Thinking about finding a way to actually stream it live on the private page, sort of like what we do here. We're going to have a regular meeting, but I know that people are in different time zones. And then this way, whatever's discussed, anybody that needs to go back and look at it later can see it and to see what information and things were discussed for the meeting. So I'm thinking of a way to do it actually live on that private page, possibly utilizing, I'm not sure how to live stream Google Meets or Zoom. So we may do it here and just have it open. This way, all the members, and we do it only on the page, and all the members can chime in, even if they're not on screen. This way, we know that we have the active, and everybody was able to see it and not, miss what was said or discussed. So I'll get with send Jason and Senaton later today if they're available. And then you and I can meet later on too to figure out how we're going to launch the meeting tomorrow. But it will definitely be a meeting tomorrow at 7 p.m. Okay. And with that being said, would you like to close us out?
Well, if you can close us out with the Damasu.
Okay. All right. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and click, and I think that's fitting, especially after discussion today. So, all right, Amasu in pa nater, Sauek in pa nater, Saksu imitra in pa nater, Aura atura maketi pa. Give yourself to the one most high. Keep yourself daily for the divine, and do it tomorrow just as you've done it today. Dwa R Hrw. Next time I'll read it from the Dwa R Hrw. I like to read it because I get my words mixed up when I don't read it. Even though I can see it, I still like to read it to say it correctly. But at least the English translation was correct. So the next time I will read it from the text. With that being said, all of you, please keep your hearts light. Have a wonderful and prosperous week. We are always here. We murder you, and we wish Uncle Johnson to all of you.
Uncle Johnson